week we had one of the unusual budgets in this country. Of course, we had the finance minister coming and giving us proposals for the 2020-2021 financial year. Now, what is key is that, again, the finance minister is supposed to come back and give us new proposals that resonate with the COVID-19 realities. As we know, COVID-19 has ravaged economies across the world. Now, Uganda is not excluded in this. So, as we await this, to come through from the finance ministry, we'll be giving you updates on this show on how these new proposals are going to look like and whether they will be able to address our issues, economic issues, as they stand today. It is Money&Markets, and I'm Charles Boyd, your host. Welcome to the show. We all know that Uganda's exports is highly import dependent. We import a lot than we actually export. Now, this is not to discount the contribution of exports to this country and the fact that there's steady progress in this particular docket. Indeed, talking about progress, let's find out how bad COVID-19 has hit this sector and what lies in stock to turn around the fortunes of the export docket of this country. From where you sit, how do you view the impact of this pandemic to the economy?
When COVID started in China, we all thought that it would keep in China, that it was going to be contained in one location. Like we have always had Ebola in DR Congo, and people in Kasese have been living and have not had a challenge. Now it came, it caused the pandemia. They closed all the borders. The airlines were stopped, or the airlines themselves stopped coming. And with regard to import and export trade, it was highly affected.
Because actually that's where I was going, that from the export side of things, how has it really affected operations there?
Let me give you this example that last year we made around 4.1, and you see the figures. It could be more because it is it is always difficult to tell you informal trade very accurately. So 4.1 billion US dollars is the highest we have reached ever since we started exporting. Because in the previous, last 3 years, we have been around 3 billion, 3.6, 3. Now, our projection was that we had a chance of going to 5 billion US dollars of merchandise exports, not services, and I talk about services. In the first quarter of January to March, when things had not become so worse, we made almost 1.1 billion US dollars. If we include informal, maybe it could even be more. So when you look at that estimate, there was a possibility that we were going to do what? To make more than 4 billion every quarter, 1.1. So would have been above 4.4. Maybe if we add all the informal, we could even have come close to 5 billion US dollars. Basing on what discussions I've had with exporters of different sectors, fish being affected because you are talking by air, and not all exports go by air. Fruits and vegetables being affected, flowers being affected, but also some of our manufacturers, the raw material comes from abroad, is imported for them to produce for us.
And supply chain.
The supply chain was broken, so they cannot produce for the domestic and export.
Given that situation, how best can we wriggle ourselves out of this, scenario of low exports and, of course, low benefits that are coming into, the economy?
Companies, let me start from companies. Companies will have to undertake a lot of aggressive marketing. Okay. They have to get back to the market. For manufacturers, and branding will be too important to reassure their buyers that they are still here and that they are doing a good job and that they still have the right product and that they still have the quality product. markets have been shaken and they will need reassurance.
Specifically looking at agriculture.
Yes.
I mean, whether manufacturing or primary agriculture, we see that this country really has a lot of, agriculture plays a very important role.
Yes.
And here we seem to have a low-hanging fruit with good seasons. Last year was good, and this year seems fairly okay. How do we leverage, the good realities around agriculture to contribute to the lifting of this economy from where it is or where COVID-19 has placed it?
The president has already said it right, and we agree with what the president has said. One of the important aspects of life is food. And food here domestically, provided by agriculture, but food in foreign markets. People want food. Even when they are having these challenges, even when they are sick, they want food. Uganda as agriculture can provide food for the domestic market, can provide food for South Sudan, can provide food for DR Congo, Kenya, and other aspects. Around there, 2016, 17, and before. From cotton, we were getting less than $30 million US. Cocoa, we were already getting over $50 million US. So we go out and let's get markets and encourage people. Let government find out markets and encourage people to produce products that they even never used to produce, but for which there is market. I am talking at the angle that what we have learned from COVID is that we could feed ourselves charities, but maybe we need income in our pockets. Without some money in our pockets, even the disease will take you very fast if it came.
And lastly, on the projection bit, how do you envisage this economy, let's say in the next 3-4 years from now? Specifically, what sectors are likely to drive this economy going forward? What do you see? How will this economy look like?
For the next 3 years, one is manufacturing. We need to import raw materials that we need to produce a lot. We need to rethink what we have been importing. Actually, what we should be doing, even with Uganda Investment Authority, what they should be doing, this government should go and attract those people who will produce what we have been importing from abroad. Let's import raw materials, but make the products here. That will create jobs, that will add value, that will have more taxes, will pay more taxes, and that is important.
The trickle-down effect.
The trickle-down effect.
Agriculture has been singled out as one of the sectors to help Uganda get back on track, of course, after the ravaging of the economy by the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, we try to find out how far can this sector go in turning around the country's fortunes. But before we get there, what needs to be done right to have this sector play that critical role? Strong sentiments about import substitution were a major highlight in the 45.5 trillion budget for the 2020-2021 financial year. This in part has been conditioned by the harsh realities that the COVID-19 pandemic has brought to the fore, where the country's largely import-dependent supply chains across most sectors of the economy have been disrupted. One of the areas where government is anchoring its hope to support the import substitution strategy is the agriculture sector, which has already proven its resilience.
It is the only sector in the economy of the three that grew. Services rank, industries rank, agriculture grew. Meaning agriculture disregards COVID and its effect. As long as it's raining, people will eat, people will farm, they are already in social distance. It was not zoned out, it was not ring-fenced, it was not quarantined.
Because of these realities, there are many agitating for more allocations towards the agricultural sector. The justification is that the country already enjoys a competitive advantage in the sector, plus the fact that it employs majority of Ugandans. Experts, however, assert that the big allocations may not be enough to turn around its fortunes and anticipated benefits to Ugandans, many pointing at better utilization of allocated resources.
Because the question we are being used to is fund agriculture up to Maputo Declaration. 10%, I don't know who said what, Malabo, all sorts of talks. But now everybody seems to be saying, wait a minute, When you look at absorption, this is money you have not used it. That's question number one. But even sometimes when you have used it, you have not seen the results. Because agriculture is a science. So if you don't deliver the seed in the planting season, the science says you've lost the season. You can build the road in and out of season, and you make it and survive. Where you would have benefited from free water coming from the rain, if it's dry season, you have to ferry the water. It raises your cost, but you still do the road. But agriculture, the moment you miss the season, that's it. So we are saying, can we do the things that are not necessarily money-related? Because money simply facilitates them.
Experts believe that synchronizing agricultural locations to real activities that can make agriculture thrive is crucial. But as the economy anchors hope on agriculture, market analysts believe that positive energy is also coming out of the financial markets and should not be ignored either at this point in time.
So in the financial markets, you've had stories of China buying up a lot of stocks. You've had even in the UK and the US, a lot of investors picking up stocks which they think were fairly cheap. Even in Uganda, when you look at it, 2 months ago, the 10-year was at 16%. This week we had an auction, it was oversubscribed by over 2 times, and it came down to to below 15%.
So as the country prepares for the review of the budget to reflect the COVID-19 pandemic realities, observers assert that a paradigm shift is needed in the way government executes tasks in critical sectors like agriculture. But our eyes should also pay attention to the possible new quick wins in areas like financial markets. Time now to take a very short commercial break. It is Money&Markets. Don't go away.